Now, to cap off our trilogy of horror reviews for this particular recording session, we have one of the best horror movies of the year, or at least the ones I've personally seen. Okay, so this is Talk to Me. This movie came out pretty early on in the year. There was a lot of hype around it, and now that I've finally seen it, I could say it safely for good reason. It's an Australian horror movie, and I always know knows when those are going to be good because Australia is constantly trying to kill you, so you have to get creative with your horror in order to actually stand out or to be scary to Australians. That's why Babadook is so scary. And that's why I trust Australian horror much more than American horror, because you already have giant spiders and other kinds of crazy animals in Australia trying to kill you. What else you got? So yeah, this one is a possession story of sorts, where the main character, whose name is, I looked up this time, for some reason, the white dude is popping up first in the list of appearances here. Where main character Mia, I believe, yep. Yeah, Mia, whose mom passed away, stumbles onto one of her classmates who has this, or classmates or associate classmate, I forget exactly what, has this mysterious hand figure that whenever you touch it and you say a certain word, like you say a phrase like "let me in," it allows spirits to possess your body for a bit and provides the person that's being possessed with a heavy euphoric feeling. And it's basically like a equivalent of just using drugs, like a very intense drug. And Mia, in her grief, finds solace. And let me be clear: Mia's mom's death is not recent. It happened it's implied to happen a year ago. But she's still having a hard time with it. She doesn't really have a lot of friends at school. She's very socially isolated, and she's struggling. So she finds kind of an escape in this, and she just kind of gets more and more into it, and pulls some other people into it, which is fine until she gets the wrong person involved, and without going into spoilers, something goes wrong, and it forces Mia to grapple more with the spirit elements. It gets more involved in that, and you can kind of predict the downward slide. It kind of goes from there. And what makes this possession movie really interesting and really work is it is a movie that understands the role ghosts play in fiction, which is a reminder of the past. It's a reminder of the past and the past mistakes and how we have to constantly grapple with that, how we grapple with loss, how we grapple with grief. And this movie, in that capacity, I believe, and I'm sure other people smarter than me have better theories, that this movie is a strong metaphor for using drugs or alcohol or any kind of substance as a way of coping with grief. And a lot of this is played with a narrative. I'm gonna try not to give anything away because I do think this is a great movie. If you haven't seen it already, I do highly recommend it. It is easily the best horror movie I've seen so far this year. Although I'm sure there's plenty of other ones I missed I can catch up on, but for now, this one's the top spot. But yeah, it does very much seem like Mia's using this euphoria, this connection with spirits, as a way to push her feelings aside and just not feel the pain of her loss that she's still struggling with, and she becomes more and more addicted to that. But unfortunately for her, regardless of how often she tries to escape, those emotions never really go away. They wait for you at the other end. No matter how hard you try to run away from the pain you're experiencing, that pain will always follow. It will always be ahead of you. It will always be waiting for when you come down, and it will eventually even follow you into whatever your escape is. You cannot escape grief. You cannot escape pain. It will always be behind you in some capacity. And that is essentially what happens here. She finds an escape. She really likes it. It works for a while, but eventually, until it doesn't, until it starts following her. She uses it more, and she tries to find peace with she tries to justify it as a way I'm working through my things through this device, but it's not working. It's only making things worse, and it actively starts harming everyone around her. And it's just really fucking good, guys. It's really fucking good. And I'm running out of camera battery right now, otherwise I'd talk more about it, but it really works as a metaphor, and it really hit home for me, because it is so easy to fall into those trappings when you're grieving. It is so easy to just want to not feel it, to not process it, to not accept it, or deal with it in any capacity. And just escapes like that are so tempting and so easy to get and abuse. And even when you see how much it's hurting other people around you, you still think that somehow we're better than everyone else. We still think we're above the warnings. We think we have the ability to process things the way that no one else can. We can handle it. We're strong enough. We can handle what no one else can, despite everyone telling us we can't, despite everyone else worrying us what will happen if we do too much. We think we're better than that, and we think that we can just escape it, and we can't. And it's incredibly destructive. And I really can't say more without going into details. I'm sure this is movies I could talk about probably for fucking hours. I'm really sad that Melena's not here with us right now to talk about it, because I'm sure she would have a lot to say about it as well. But I'm excited for the sequel for this. I think this is a really strong start to a possibly good franchise. These directors have strong heads on their shoulders. This movie has a really strong point to make. It is a good kind of horror that knows what it wants to say. It says it very eloquently and very succinctly, and I think it is absolutely 100% worth your time. So talk to me. One of the best horror movies of the year. That's all I really got to say about it without going into too much in detail and spoilers. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.